And I myself was like trying to figure out where I should be started. Okay. The reason being, if you see my profile,
Just slotted you in two places.
huh?
Just slotted you in two places.
Two places. So and this is not new to me. Even within the organization, I figure in meetings where you don't usually find the chartered accountant out there, right? So from a profile perspective, commerce graduate, indulged in technology right from the beginning, with a GA90 at that time, and a chartered accountant, and I worked for close to about 8 years before I did my MBA with ISB. Right? In terms of experience, overall 15 years. It stands today. Started off as part of my course curriculum in the chartered accountancy in terms of doing audits, taxation. 1 year industry training in HL. This is where I really got to see how technology enables business process very up close. I was involved in certain projects which were around their ERP. So it was a brief introduction in terms of really working up and close with an ERP. And then I spent a year with the .com. This was in 2000. It was the .com boom. Lots of ideas were well ahead of its time. I worked in one such company where we had an offering which was well ahead of in terms of its time. It's a B2B portal. We had conducted the first virtual trade fair in India. I actually didn't do anything that was to do with my studies. I was actually doing hardcore sales, visiting industry trade fairs and trying to sell the whole concept of B2B. Right? B2B portal. So I always ended up doing something which excited me, which is different, try to break barriers, try to see something which was something which is different from what you usually do. So that was probably something that I realized as I did some of these roles. I moved on and worked with GE. This was the start of the BPO industry. So I come from a BPO services background. Okay, so this was the early days in 2001. I worked out of Gurgaon, GE Capital Financial Services. Now it's called Genpact. We had set up both voice call centers as well as non-voice transactional work for GE businesses in India. I played various roles there, mostly around process transformation. I'm a Six Sigma, GE Six Sigma trained black belt, certified black belt from GE, so in Six Sigma from GE. Did varied roles for 5 years in finance and accounting outsourcing, right? Both in India as well as in the US. With them for about 5 years. And the best part about GE was it was initially started off with outsourcing, but then I got an opportunity to work with GE business in the US where I was involved in certain projects which were not, which is front-ending. For example, one of the projects I worked upon was how do you increase the percentage of utilization in GE, in the fleet business of GE, right? Fleet utilization. So it was more on analytics, very interesting project that I worked on with good teams. And then I decided to move on and do my MBA at ISB. And the focus at ISB was primarily around seeing that what else could I do, right? How can I leverage my skills that I acquired earlier? It was mostly around process engineering, right? And in the finance and accounting domain largely, right? And see if we can do something different. In ISB, I pretty much gravitated towards courses which really appealed to me were courses around strategy sessions, strategy implementation. I really loved all the courses in LCM. And luckily for me, I got hired by EDS. I know it's still been talked about, at least we've talked about for at least a couple of years since we graduated, but basically we had EDS come onto campus from the US, and there were about 10 of us who joined in various strategy roles in EDS. Right, so I was the EDS for about 2 years in the US, and then I moved to Emphasis. Emphasis was acquired by EDS, and now Emphasis is a part of HP. Right, I did varied roles. I was again aligned to BPO in EDS. It was a $5 billion business, largely around voice. So the role was more in terms of seeing, identifying the right technologies, having the BPO operations adopted. Right. Also look at offshoring a lot of work that they're doing onshore. So it was define the strategy and actually moving work to various offshore locations. When I moved to Emphasis, the last 3.5 years have been the Emphasis. My role has been mainly to create end-to-end integrated services. So as we talked today, one of the services we had was on invoice processing and working on the billing platform. This platform is a service where we bring in the best of technology, so infrastructure, technology, and BPO, combine it together, build a package service, take it to market. So build a business case, get funding, take it to market, and actually win customers. So I do everything right from defining the service offering, building the business case, getting the investment, working with marketing, working with sales, drive the whole sales cycle, get customers on board, and even oversee implementation. So it's been a very good experience, a good journey. I'm not doing anything different from what I've been doing the last 3 years, but now I'm actually moving on to a role which is slightly larger with more responsibility. So I kind of touched that. So this is my current role. It's more on preparing business cases, working with marketing, sales, have a GTM strategy executed, provide pre-sales support for the sales team, acquire customers, cross-functional teams. Again, a lot of the times of change where you had siloed services, at least infrastructure was its own, applications was business was its own, BPOs and so on. Now when you talk about integrated services, all these three used to have different models. Now the models are evolving in the marketplace. At least the services space, the technology is taking a backseat because people want business outcomes. So you have heard the term outcome-based outsourcing. The contracts are, whenever we go and try to win a deal, at least in the outsourcing context, now we have at least 20 odd competitors. So how do you differentiate yourself, stand out of the crowd? How do you, and a lot of, the advantage is I'm not from a pure play BPO. So the value that we try to bring is how do we convince the customer that we have a strong integrated play? And can we transit into a model where can we reduce, there's basically no fixed cost, everything can become a transaction cost, right? So transaction-based pricing. So a lot of evolving models in the market. So interesting time. What really helped me to the skills that are required for this role is definitely a very strong business acumen. I think the business acumen, being at ISP really helped. You can get a broader perspective. It really helps you to prepare business cases and present effectively to senior management. Right? Of course, most important thing when you work with cross-functional teams is very good facilitation skills. How do you get diverse opinion, bring everyone towards a common goal, right? Another critical thing is it's a part solutions role as well, right? How do you identify the trends in the market and identify unmet needs? Right? Because it's highly competitive. And as part of the sales process, it's important that you can clearly articulate value to the customer. And you have to be a little bit forward thinking in terms of building solutions which need not be highly innovative, but at least something that is progressive in nature. Of course, perseverance. It's a very competitive marketplace. I'm sure probably the same in the product space as well. But service is extremely competitive, and you need to be highly, lots of perseverance. Quick thing, I'm visiting camps after 6 years. I haven't had a step, so it's been a lot of change. The city has changed. The campus thankfully hasn't changed much. But when they called me, I quickly took 5 minutes, jotted this down. This is what do I remember from my time at ISB, something that I'd like to talk about. I spent a lot of time building my resume. I think it's a critical thing. In fact, remember I started building the resume from 3rd term. Right? So net, I think I was very clear. I came here so that I can do a leapfrog my career. The most important thing for me was placements. Right? So I think it's important to have the right resume. I remember that time we had the resume writing services here. It probably is still there. I found that service very helpful. Right? Skill mapping, I think, is very important. And this is not just at ISB. I think you continue doing it every year. I at least do it at least every year in terms of saying that what are the skills that I have? Have I acquired new skills? Where's the gap? Right? So work on your skills. I think that's very important as you go along your career. From an ISB perspective, it's important to identify what are the skills that you bring to the table, what is something that you want to enhance during your stint here. Right? And leverage some of the opportunities here. Maybe look at the ELPs. I did an ELP here which really helped me. Right? and definitely was a talking point. I remember my ELP was we built the management cockpit for Satyam. Right, one down to Raju, I don't remember his name now, but we actually went to the Satyam campus and built a digital cockpit for them.
Vision compass.
Yeah, probably. And another important is find a group, and this is not the group that ISB tells you right in the beginning, but make your own group, and that you'll probably figure out as you get closer to your placements. Maybe a group that can provide a very critical review of your GDs, your interviews. So I remember I had a team of 5 of us. It really worked. We really gelled as a group. Really helped us in our preparation for the GDs and interviews. And go after the profiles or roles rather than the company, right? It doesn't matter. Don't go for the brand, right? Of course, everyone wants to be work for Google or Facebook, but definitely be aware of the role. Even if it's the #1 company in the world, see what profile or role that is, right? And it's really something that's going to help you in the long run. Of course, in terms of plan B, if you've done your skill mapping well, you know what your plan B will be. Right? Most importantly, right, don't put too much pressure on yourself. Okay? Life is too short to waste worrying. Just take it easy. Just enjoy your year, and everything will fall in place. Alright, I think it took longer than I was saying.